were a side-by-side sensation. Mother and daughter on top of the world, at the top of the country music charts. Then, ill health ended her career.
To have that taken away from me almost killed me.
Naomi Judd. After 2 years in seclusion, she's starting over in a new direction.
I've missed you all so much.
How did she deal with domestic violence, incredible success, and a devastating setback? Bob Brown with her emotional and inspiring saga. Naomi's story. What?
December 4th, 1991, a personal drama was being played out on a Tennessee stage before a huge audience. It was the final performance of one of country music's most successful acts, the Judds. The mother and daughter team had sold more than 15 million albums worldwide. But at the age of 45, at the top of country music industry, Naomi Judd was being forced to quit because of hepatitis. She was turning over the business to her daughter, Winona. And as Bob Brown reports, for Naomi Judd, that last night is a bittersweet memory.
And this is our last professional embrace. This is our last song together.
It's the last show, and it's the bottom of the night, with the bases loaded at the World Series. And we're getting ready to sing our last song together. Love can build a bridge. And you have to understand that Winona's not supposed to be able to sing.
This whole year I've been trying to figure out what I was going to say tonight. And
She's totally lost her voice.
I really can't talk, but
She's starting to lose it emotionally. And she didn't want to sing the song, and I didn't want to either, but my overwhelming instinct was to get her through it so that she would have a life, so that she could go on. Because I kept telling her, honey, if you do this last song, you can do anything. And the underpinning strings of the song began, and it was as if the building was being levitated. It was an ethereal, sacred moment, and nothing will ever outshine its brilliance. And the kid just belted it out of the ballpark. I feel very lucky to have had that moment, and I think about it every day.
Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
With those kinds of moments in your life, imagine having it all end. A Cinderella story stuck on 1 second past midnight. Within days, the farewell parties were over, and the adjective that seemed to describe this woman who used to call herself the queen of everything was former. Former star, former 5-time Grammy winner, former head of a multi-million-dollar business.
To have that taken away from me almost killed me. There's detox centers for drug addicts and alcoholics, but there's no detox center to get over this. I was a diesel sniffer. I was a road addict. I was completely addicted to the road.
Naomi chose a retirement spot about as far from that excitement as she could get. She came here to the farm that she and her husband had bought in rural Tennessee. As Winona built a solo career that is now one of the most successful in country music, she seemed to have a second sense for what her mother was going through.
Often I'd be out on the road and I'd say, gosh, 9 o'clock, I bet she's at home going into a trance about now, because at 9 o'clock, you know, your body just shifts into gear. You feel yourself getting awake and getting towards the show and all that. If she hadn't had this farm, I would have really worried about her because she had nowhere to go.
Then I kind of got out there.
Got out there in what way?
Mentally. But I discovered that isolation is dangerous. Isolation weakens the spirit.
That was why she started writing, she says. And because of that, after 2 years, Naomi Judd, with her hepatitis in remission, has for a while found somewhere to go again.
Hey, Larry, now don't run any stoplights, don't run any yellow lights, and don't run over any fans.
Last month, she began traveling again in her old tour bus called Dream Chaser with her husband, Larry Strickland, a talent manager at the wheel, and her other daughter, Ashley, a successful film and television actress, along for the ride. The tour was to promote an autobiography Naomi wrote while she was, as she puts it, reinventing herself. The response to her rare appearance in public was phenomenal. Some of these fans had driven hundreds of miles to see her at a bookstore in a Lexington, Kentucky mall.
Just really a nerve knot today because I've missed you all so much. Thank you for coming out.
While she was in Lexington, she stopped to visit the apartment project where she and her first husband had lived when she was still a teenager and her daughter Winona was an infant.
This is the first place that we lived when Winona was born. You guys still got a problem with roaches? Do you?
Yeah, that's all you still to say.
I used to find them in Winona's baby bed. It made me furious.
Naomi's marriage broke up after the couple moved to Los Angeles, where Ashley was born, and Naomi supported herself and her daughters by taking secretarial work. Then she lived through a dangerous relationship that was never mentioned in the press releases after she became a star. Vulnerable after the breakup of her marriage, she says, she got involved with a handsome neighbor who turned out to be an ex-con, a man who beat her in front of her daughters.
I felt so guilty that my kids saw this. I mean, he almost killed me in front of my children, and that's when I thought, I've been a victim, but I'm not going to be a volunteer any longer. I'm out of here.
She returned to Kentucky and went into training for a career as a nurse, already 29 years old. It was when she got a job at this county hospital in Tennessee that she believes she was infected by hepatitis, a potentially fatal virus that attacks the liver's immune functions but may not show up for years.
The best guess is it was some needle prick that you didn't notice at the time that caused your hepatitis.
Yep, but
Don't regret having exposed yourself to that?
No, he who looks back with regret dies of remorse.
Says now the past is what I fear. The future isn't what it used to be.
At the height of her career, that lost moment came back to haunt her. She and Winona, who had begun to sing together after hearing women's harmonies on a bluegrass record, won virtually overnight public acceptance when their first record was released only 10 years ago. Naomi enjoyed that stretch of 7 years at the top of the industry. Then, in 1990, she learned that a debilitating weakness that had caused her to cancel several performances was caused by hepatitis.
You couldn't tell Winona
No.
you had the disease.
No.
Somebody else had to tell her.
Yeah. I called our manager, Ken, and I said, I cannot tell Winona. You're going to have to do it for me. But I'll never forget the sadness, just the naked sorrow on her face was unbelievable. And the shadow went across her face, and she said, I quit. I'll never sing again. And she said, I'm going home with you, Mom. That's all I want to do is be with you.
I'm supposed to carry on the family business. I haven't even been doing this 8 years, you know, and she's been working her whole life. And so, yeah, there was that part of me that said, I can't.
Something snapped in me, and I said, I said, young lady, if you're going to throw a pity party, don't invite me, because I plan to live.
As it turned out, it was just as hard for Naomi to go solo as it was for Winona. Alone in the country, she suffered panic attacks. But from the time she learned she had hepatitis, she had also read extensively about biofeedback and mind and body control and nutrition. And she believes that's the reason her hepatitis went into remission and remains there.
It's kind of like knowing you've got a monster down in your basement, but I know he's down there, but I control it, and I'm not going to let him out. Every single day I'm aware of keeping myself stress-free, because stress kills us. We have to be responsible for our own health, first of all. And you don't just go to a doctor and think that he's got a magic bullet for you. Hi, Wilson. How are you?
If you could banish that virus from your system,
With my little Queen of Everything
your little Queen
wand.
of Everything wand, would you go back out on the road then?
No. I wouldn't do that to Wyatt, because she struggled so valiantly these last 2 years. And my God, she's fabulous. I haven't sung since December 4th, except out here. I have a secret meditation place that I go to, deep in the woods. And there's this fabulous Italian marble statue of a guardian angel named Zora, after one of my favorite relatives. And she's the only one who hears me sing these days. But
What do you sing to her?
I suppose you'd call it chanting, like Gregorian chants. Sometimes I'd sing Judd songs.
They're my guardian angels, and I know they can see every step I take. They are watching over me. I might not know where I'm going.
Music is a healer. Sometimes music allows us to express those emotions that words just can't define.
One of the last things you wrote in your book was Ashley is the picture, Winona is the voice, and I am the silence. What do you mean by I am the silence?
I can't sing anymore. And the world idolizes the two of them now, and I watch the world adoring them from behind their eyes. I'm being a mom right now. And I'm a writer. And I let my words do the talking.
Bob, I feel so kind of attached as I watch this, because we did a story on Winona and Naomi, did an interview with them just before she retired. We should point out that she has chronic active hepatitis, which is different from hepatitis as bad as it is.
It's incurable, and that's the reason she has to stay off the road.
Right.
It doesn't mean
take that stress and exhaustion.
Right. It doesn't mean she won't sing again. In fact, she's scheduled some studio harmony work. She's going to do some appearances with Winona in the near future, some singing appearances. But she says she's going to stay off the road.
It means, yes, you can't do that kind of traveling. You know, this is such an unusual family. First of all, because in the act, you know, here is the mother who was the, you know, the kind of sexy and so great looking, and here are two daughters, both now, one becoming a star, one a huge star.
Extraordinarily successful on their own, and now her book is #9 on the bestseller list, Love Can Build a Bridge.
We wish them everything good. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.